Do you feel frustrated trying to grow your franchise? Are you having trouble balancing your consumer and franchise development marketing? Do you wish there was an easier way? Imagine if you had a proven roadmap to take your franchise's marketing from costing you to making you money. That's why we've created the Franchise Growth Blueprint. We walk you through the exact same process that we use to run franchise marketing campaigns for our clients at scale that has resulted in triple-digit growth. This blueprint isn't for anyone. It's not for people just starting a franchise. It's not for franchises without long-term goals. This is for franchises that want to scale up their marketing in a predictable and profitable way using a proven roadmap. If you want to sell more franchises, keep your current franchisees happy, and learn from people who have already done it, go to franchisegrowthblueprint.com and sign up today. That's franchisegrowthblueprint.com. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Franchise Marketing Podcast. Today, I have Sarah Cressall, who is the founder and CEO of The Creation Station. Sarah, welcome to the show.
How fantastic to be here. Thrilled to be on your show, Jordan.
Yeah, it's great to have you on. So for our listeners who haven't heard about you and The Creation Station, what do you do?
Oh, it's very simple. 2 words. I inspire imaginations. We do this across the UK and very soon internationally. And we do it through really nurturing creativity from 0 to 99. What does that mean? We provide arts and crafts based classes, parties, events, after school clubs, festivals, event entertainment for all ages. So that's preschool events, new mum and baby keepsakes, birthday parties. We go into care homes. We go down the pub, of course, and drink Prosecco and do crafts or gin and tonic. So it's really a comprehensive way of helping people learn and their kids learn the power of creativity and supporting people to, I guess, just be creative because it's such an important tool. And we're here to provide people with that amazing opportunity. And we do that through our amazing franchise partners as well.
Awesome. Very cool. So, as the founder, what inspired you to start it?
Really good question. I think like most franchisors kind of think big and then work out how to get there. So I was thinking big. I had lucky enough to be a mum to 3 kids. And I'd been to music classes and gym classes. And I was in a wheelchair for a couple of years when I had the kids. So I went to a lot of these clubs. And I'd find that there were elements of each activity that we went to that I really liked and elements that I didn't like. And so I mashed it all up. I was a creative. I had my own creative company beforehand. I'd run different things before. And I just noticed that there was a massive opportunity to provide children with a journey of exploration and discovery and development, rather than let's all put the tambourine back in the box at the same time, which my kids never did. It was, well, if they wanted to tap on their head or on the floor or we're all different. So why are we trying to get kids to do exactly the same thing from a young age? As long as they're safe, with my 3 kids, I wanted to spark their own individual curiosity and create their own journey of learning. And I think if we can then build that confidence of it's okay to be different and forge your own path of learning, then we can really nurture that talent in the young people. So that's really why I started it, to put it in kind of like a little nutshell. And my kids have turned out quite different, but they are forging their own amazing path.
That's amazing. So what made you decide to go down the route of franchising rather than staying, kind of just fully corporate?
Again, interesting question, because I hadn't really heard about franchising until I knew certain brands were franchising, but I didn't think, this was 19 years ago, that a mum could franchise. But of course, I've never put labels on can't. I've always thought can. And I'd heard of other brands who were doing gym and music, but there was nothing creative. And when you're thinking big, it's how do you how do you give that opportunity to other people? So it was flexible for me as a mum with 3 kids, but I think bigger than that. And I wanted to give other mums that opportunity. And it was the best way to do that is through the franchising model, because it provides a real ethical foundation for people to run a successful business, but with being handheld at all of the key points, with all the resources, the security. And I actually, to start with, when I think back, I wanted to give typically other parents that opportunity to have the flexibility around family, but also run a really successful, both financially and emotionally rewarding business. That's kind of where the sort of the nugget really sort of started to grow.
Cool. Very interesting. So Sarah, you started off no franchises, didn't even know you were going to go the franchise route, and now you're expanding internationally. So tell me about this journey. Tell me about some of your biggest learnings through this process.
Oh, I know the podcast can't go on forever. It's always learning. Some of the learnings, value. When I started, I've got big imagination, and I imagined where we'd go. But I think being responsive and listening, our business model and what we offer has developed because we've listened to customers and we've grabbed opportunities, tried and tested, moved away what doesn't work, focus on what really works. So being very responsive and making connections, that's really helped. So we've moved from preschool classes to this whole portfolio from 0 to 99 now. Mm-hmm. Listening to our franchise partners and collaborating with them. I had underestimated the joy of having a team of franchise owners. Especially now we've got through, the last year, the collaboration and the talent pool is phenomenal within your franchise network. Obviously, on the basis that you select wisely. I think one of the strongest things I ever did was write down my brand values right at the beginning, 6 core values. They're still the same values 19 years on. I'm really proud of that because it's fundamentally why I started the business. Other learnings I've had is I just enjoy it. We all work hard as a business owner and find the things that you enjoy doing. In fact, I've just wrapped them up, but we've just awarded 3 more franchises, and I make them a welcome card. The first thing I did this morning about 7:30, I made a load of little handmade cards. I'm sure there's other things I could do with my time, but it's just that little personal touch. It's not necessarily the making card. It's the fact of just keeping it personal. At the end of the day, we're all human. We're all doing the best that we can, and just keeping that spark of why I started it, what I wanted to give, keeps that joy. Because there is part of the job I don't like doing. I have to tell people at a discovery event that they're not right for us, and do that nicely. It's difficult when people want to know why. So you've got to find those things that spark and get you excited about what you do, and that keeps the momentum going and that energy. Innovating, I love the innovation and the trialing, and there's always something to learn. There's always stuff to learn, and that keeps it fresh, so it's dynamic. I think that's really important. And as a leader of a significantly creative, relatively large business, you need to be at the cutting edge of technology, innovation, and not be frightened of failure. To me, to fail is the first attempt in learning. And if you don't do that, you'll never improve. So you've got to test it safely within parameters. But keep the energy flowing. I do a lot of exercise now. Obviously, I've been in a wheelchair, so now I just love the fact that I can walk, I run, and cycle, and it's keeping that energy going. That's what makes it. I think the energy flow by keeping things going, keeping it fresh. And 2 of these, listening more.
I love it. And you know what? Like having that energy that you did on day one, 19 years later, I'm sure that, whether your franchisees pick up on it, either subconsciously or explicitly, they can feel that energy from you. And I'm sure that helps ignite their own fire to, just do well and run a great business.
Yeah, it does. Just before this chat, we had a Zoom. The nice thing we've done a lot more Zoom calls, haven't we all? But it's lovely to see people. And one of the ideas we had on that Zoom call a couple of months ago was somebody was talking about they did a unique workshop for a grandparent and a grandchild, different parts of the UK, and we were chatting that through, and we came up with grand activities. We ran free intergenerational workshops throughout lockdown for grandparents and families to meet over Zoom. And we talked about toys and the history of toys, and people got their toys out. And that idea came from just a conversation, because she was passionate about what she was doing. And energy does flow, whether it's negative or positive energy, it still flows. So you might as well make it positive.
Totally. So tell me more about, listening, using these 2 ears here, and how you're able to kind of filter the signal between the noise. 'Cause I'm sure, everyone wants their opinion heard. So like, what's your process to making that successful?
Yeah, good point. And it comes in many, many ways. There isn't one single point. Conversations, right from customers. We have surveys that we send to customers. We ask our franchisees to feedback ideas. All of our session plans are now created from feedback, and they're developed that way. We have Franchisee of the Month. We have Innovation Awards. We just have well done. They get a handmade card and some chocolates just for an idea. And it's acceptance of ideas. In fact, we do want to hear your ideas. We have a special email address called Ideas at the Trace Station, which is our ticketing system for, let's put it out there. What wacky ideas can you come up with? We then have to filter them. But the main thing is to get the ideas coming in. This logo here, Tiny Treasures, was actually an idea of one of our franchise owners who had a little daughter and did these little footprints. And then we turn that into quite a significant part of our business where we do keepsakes with mums. And it's just listening in the sense of being open to, I call it rippling out. So when she showed me the pictures of the footprints, etc., and said, I've got this idea, we gave her credit, and, we got the press, and we did a film crew round, and but you get that one idea, and it's how can you ripple that out? So accepting that people, I think when you recognize the value of people's ideas, they're more likely to share them, so that people get acknowledged. I think that's very important, that it's all about the team effort to the ideas. So yeah, we have a range of different processes and systems, but it's I think conversations work really well. Just having time to have conversations with people, which is obviously quite tricky it's a busy diary. But yeah, being open to it. And I am an innovator and a creator, so I love making stuff and making those connections. It's kind of where my role is in the business, to drive that business into new innovative areas as well. So it kind of comes quite naturally to me to, maybe I'm just nosy.
You know what? I love how deeply ingrained like new innovative ideas, suggestions are in your company's DNA. Like I don't think I've heard of another franchise where they're just so open with amassing ideas from, customers, franchisees, employees. That's amazing. So like hat tip to you and the team, Sarah.
We'll get right back to the show, but do you feel frustrated trying to grow your franchise? Are you having trouble balancing your consumer and franchise development marketing? Do you wish there was an easier way? Imagine if you had a roadmap to take your franchise's marketing from costing you to making you money. That's why we've created the Franchise Growth Blueprint. To find out more, visit franchisegrowthblueprint.com. That's franchisegrowthblueprint.com. Now back to today's episode.
Thank you. I think it's important because things change so quickly. You only have to look at Blockbusters and all of the different businesses, and we don't want to ever be a dinosaur. I don't mind being a dragon, but we can't be. We've got a responsibility to our franchise owners to be at the cutting edge of business, and whether that's slime workshops or a different way of how you wash paintbrushes. We have these handy little brushes. People put them in a pillowcase. That was an idea, that people in a pillowcase in the dishwasher. It doesn't matter what the idea is. If it adds value, give them credit. And within those mad ideas and range, there are some profitable, innovative ways that the business will grow. So it just makes perfect sense.
That's fantastic. So, Sarah, one question I always love to ask guests is, what advice would you give someone just starting out as a franchisor?
I think know your why, know your purpose. I wrote down the 6 core values of kind of my why and my what. Actually, it was more my why. And over the 19 years, I haven't. It's given me that compass to navigate. I haven't gone off that way. It's helped me steer through all sorts of decisions, especially when we're innovating, that we don't go off widely that way, because we have a very strong foundation that grounds us. So spend some time as to why you're doing what you do, what's important to you. So you've got that grounding, because there will be times when, you'll be knocked off one side to the other. So being grounded in your purpose. And I think most successful businesses now have to have a strong purpose. It's not enough just to make money, although we need to do that in order to deliver the purpose, but go with the purpose first, and the other things with hard work and focus tend to follow.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I love it. So switching gears a little, Sarah, this is a growth podcast. So I'd love to hear, what are some of the marketing campaigns that have really moved the needle for you?
I love collaboration. I think 2 heads always better than one. So from a very young age, from a brand point of view, we worked with bigger brands wherever possible. So we've worked very well with Hasbro, we've worked with Lego, Disney, and collaborating with larger brands has given us much more reach. It's given our franchise owners extra kudos, and what's been interesting now, that larger brands now approach us to work with us, which is interesting, full circle. And I think that collaboration where it's, say, us and another brand, but we're adding value to the customer, whether it's free ways of getting involved, adding knowledge or value, or when you've got that brand value as a deliverable, i.e. adding value, that helps us position us for what we are. I think it's people seeing that we're authentic about what we do, that we're transparent. We sometimes make mistakes, but if we do, we get it. This is generally internally, not externally, because we try not to let them go that far. But if we do make a mistake, or if franchisees make mistakes, we fix it. It's not about being infallible. It's about listening and changing things if we haven't delivered on our promise, because we're all human. But from a marketing point of view, I just think adding value and showing people that you are what you say you are gives real transparency.
Totally. And you know what? Nowadays, people can see right through, the faux, and they just want like that transparency and honesty.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. One thing you mentioned, Sarah, is when you were more of an emerging brand, you partnered with larger ones. You mentioned Hasbro, Lego, Disney. How did you go about approaching these huge, like multi-billion-dollar companies as that new kid on the block?
Yeah. I think by talking about what we are passionate about, it's not what we do, but it's what we make people, how we make people feel. Talking about our brand values, people in those roles are just regular human beings, so we connect. I've done different things. I've written letters. I've sent little presents. I've knocked on people's doors. Obviously used LinkedIn, and just started making friends and saying, I think we might be able to help. Because we have the benefit of delivered locally by great people as well as the national marketing, just start making friends, really. I remember as we started to get a little bit bigger, we weren't that big. I remember Sony got in touch with us to do some work for them. And I was like, PR's working. Yes. And that stuff. How did you hear about us? Thinking it must have been, some great marketing campaign that we'd done or something. And she said, well, actually, one of the ladies in the office said her kid had gone to a creation party and it was great. I was like, even better. So, the power of the pull and the push and the pull, however it works, ground upwards as well as the head office stuff. But I think it's just really making friends and trying. That's kind of how we got some of our first large brands.
I like it. Yeah, nothing can beat that personal relationship that you develop.
Yeah.
So, Sarah, you're expanding internationally now. That's super exciting. What has this process been like for you?
Too slow, to be honest. Too slow, because you've got to be so selective when awarding any franchise, and especially with a master franchisee. It won't come as any surprise to you, but the brand values have to be aligned, because that is what we are. They have to get why we do what we do, and that's got to resonate with them. I'm also not in any, when I say too slow, I'm not in any hurry. Obviously I am, but I'm happy to go slow, because slow, what do they say? Slow is quick. I don't know. You get it, do the hard work, put the harder work in, then the results will start to come out. But I am really excited. What I love about leading a team, or having a team in the UK, is we can possibly impact more people because we franchised. We could never have had this impact if it was just all corporately owned organizations. And the relationship with those leaders would be very different. We've got incredible franchise owners, really passionate about what they do, talented, a joy to hang out with as well. And people often talk about, was it global? Well, my phrase is, it's not global domination, it's global inspiration. I mean, that's quite a nice goal to have, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Totally. So, Sarah, this has been a delight, but unfortunately, we're ending near the end of the episode. So, I like to end them all with something that I call the lightning round. So, it's a few fast-paced questions coming at you. Are you ready?
Okay.
All right. So, first one is, what is your favorite tool or app that you cannot live without?
If I can, so my photograph, my camera, I photograph everything. And if I can have a supplementary app, Audible.
Nice.
cycling, running. I listen to audio. I listen to podcasts, and yeah, books. I love listening to business books. I love listening to funny books, and then I cry. And it's quite odd when I'm running and crying with laughter because it's funny.
Very cool. So speaking of books, what is your favorite book?
A book I read that was like drinking chocolate, which I'm a big fan of, was Steve Jobs' book, How He Set Up Apple, because it made me realize that it's about you fail and improve, and it's not about being perfect, or you don't have to be the most awesome, brilliant person all of the time. You can actually just be human and do awesome things. And that really made me feel like it's okay. It's okay if you don't always, get everything right first time. It's okay.
Totally. All right, next question. Who is a franchise leader that you look up to?
The person who runs the British Franchise Association, an incredible lady called Pip Wilkins. I really admire what she does personally and for franchising, and for franchisors. She's an incredible support to so many people.
Awesome. I love it. All right, Sarah, last question, I promise. Where can people find out more about you and your franchise?
So I'm on LinkedIn, Sarah Cressall, and obviously the website, thecreationstation.co.uk. Just contact us. I get the inquiries. Well, I can get forwarded the inquiries. So if you just need to get hold of me, you can contact us that way.
Awesome. Sarah, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I appreciate it. Appreciate all the, inspiration that you've had and given our listeners, and I know myself, and all that knowledge that you shared.
You're very kind. There's still a big gap there. There's still a lot more stuff to go in. Thank you very much, Jordan.
No problem.
That. Thank you for all the work that you do to support, to promote, support people. It's really appreciated.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks, and bye for now.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Franchise Marketing Podcast. If you found this episode useful, share it with a friend and subscribe now so you don't miss out on any upcoming episodes. And until then, happy marketing.